All right, I am actually going to be watching a Happy game versus a regular Andy on ladder, just a Night Elf. I want to learn how to crush like the Undead Emperor that is Happy in Undead versus Elf. I saw that he had an Undead versus Elf at this timestamp, but I don't know who it is. It's going to be INFI, isn't it? Oh, it is! It actually is. 9 spoons. Okay, well that works. Undead versus Night Elf. Against INFI. Not quite a regular Andy at all, but watching it from Happy's POV, as I do play Undead sometimes, is going to be very, very educational, even if it is someone as powerful as INFI. Sick. Alright, Happy versus INFI, 2 of the best players in the world. INFI, of course, with the achievements and the tournament results to back it up. Happy, I would say, not quite as many achievements, but most of his strength was fully developed after he transitioned back from StarCraft 2 to his original game, which is Warcraft 3, and he's been kicking ass the last few years. There aren't as many tournaments now as before, so he doesn't have the chance to prove it per se. Doesn't necessarily have the full interest either to compete as some others. He competes fully in the European and American region, online of course, due to the state of things, but not as interested to go to Chinese tournaments these days, either online or offline, because of some issues that he cited having before. Nothing too dramatic, but just his personal preferences. But we do get to enjoy his play in online cups, weekly cups, and yeah, big tournaments like the W3 Champions Season Finals, and anything really that is being played online with ping that he finds acceptable. Of course, as a player that is now also very good at macro, but is mostly known for his impeccable micro, having a good ping is of paramount importance. And especially with a race like Undead, I think it's a lot more ping requiring, let's say, good ping requiring, than some other matchups can have. And he's got the lovely 15 ping right here in this battle against INFI on the W3 Champions ladder. He's going to open up with a Death Knight and an Acolyte Scout. We saw a very early altar, into a crypt, and into a Tomb of Relics. The Acolyte has killed and prepped the sheep. The sheep that he has killed will remain with the corpse for a good period of time, enough for him to pick up the Rod of Necromancy and summon his first 2 skeletons. There is a 2 or 3 second delay after killing a sheep for the corpse to spawn, so not only does his Death Knight not need to do a single auto attack on the sheep in order to turn it into a corpse, aka brutally kill it, virtually, he also doesn't need to wait for that small little delay. And these are the kind of efficiencies that Warcraft 3 players will add to their roster, will add to their skill repertoire in order to streamline everything they do. You'll be hard pressed to find inefficiency in the way that Happy moves across the map. If you ever see him double back with a hero while on a creep route, that would be a unique mistake indeed. And we can see that he wasted no time going straight for the second camp here. You can also note the min-maxing he's doing with his rods of skeletons. The way that he makes sure that every skeleton drops to 10% life, rotates it back, and lets other things tank damage from creeps in order to maximize the amount of damage output that his skeletons can do, and the way that they can spread the tanking. Getting level 2 and then instantly going over to the Night Elf, he did a 3 crypt into graveyard, a 3 ghoul into graveyard opening with a fast tech at 16 food, as his Acolyte is now dead. It could be 17 food if you don't lose the Acolyte. And then made a 4th ghoul afterwards, but no 5th, interestingly, nor is he making fiends right now. Undead has 3 different styles against Night Elf. They can open with the fiends after they tech, they can go for a whole bunch of ghouls, which used to be meta, especially in the olden days, and you can go for gargoyles from the crypt. Or you could skip all that and go double slaughter abominations. But everything Undead does is a function of what the Night Elf does. Undead plays this matchup reactively. So in order to understand why Happy is doing what he's doing, which units he is getting, and that's a funny positioning for the Trapper, can he actually abuse that? Can he attack it? Does it not go home? This is weird behavior indeed. Has he parked it, imprisoned it there, frozen in paralysis at this fake Death Knight's want an assault against it? Will it still be there when we come back? Will it be there the whole game? So many questions, so little time to answer. But the way to understand what Happy is doing is of course going to be totally down to what he scouts from the Night Elf. Try to copy his style 1-to-1 against the Demon Hunter and you'll be actually unpleasantly surprised. In fact, you'll most likely be unpleasantly surprised anyway. Logging back into Warcraft 3 after not playing it for 14 years and thinking, hey, I'm nostalgic about this game. I just completed the campaign at easy difficulty. This Happy guy seems pretty good. Let's play his style and see how it is. Doesn't look that hard. Is most likely going to result in heartbreak and an existential crisis for a good period of time in your life. And that is okay. From these uncomfortable experiences we grow and we learn humility. As it stands, we are seeing a keeper opening with archers and an expansion attempt that is being made a little bit proxied from the natural expansion. Keeper is level 3 and really represents a large threat against anything the undead puts on the field. He can kill ghouls with a single entangle, provided they are not on blight. We can see that this ghoul lives to tell the tale of when he was entangled by a man on 4 legs and a stag on his head. And he survived narrowly because of the bonus regeneration undead enjoys while standing on blight, the cursed ground. Acolytes will also be able to die from an entangle and a bunch of attacks. The keeper here moves in with an invulnerability potion in what I can imagine might actually be a misclick. Or is it because he didn't want to get Coil Novat? Who can tell? But that's a big investment. The greater invulnerability being used there just to walk unmolested, uncontested into the range of that Nerubian tower with the dreams, the designs on Happy's acolytes. None shall be lost this day, and we can describe this as a very good start indeed for Happy so far. A lesser undead, yours truly, would have maybe brought all of their ghouls in an attempt, ill-fated no doubt, to cancel that expansion that we saw coming up. But Happy knows his limits and his power spike, and he has decided not to bring any of his ghouls to cancel that expansion. If it was made off of a single archer and a keeper level 2, there is a chance he would have brought skeletons, the acolyte if it survived, any ghouls maybe to cancel it. You can't know until you see him in that situation. But as it stands, he decided it's not worth it. That expansion is late enough to be permitted to be finished. And instead, Happy is going to creep with units which are mechanical. Statues, summons, or heroes. None of these can be entangled, and everything else is being kept safely. The aura of fear and influence of Keeper is large indeed, that he can force all undead units off the map for a period of time. You can try to circumvent the entangle by just making more stuff. Instead of having 3 units, which can get entangled and killed, perhaps you can have 10 units. But the war of attrition will weigh heavy on you indeed, because losing even 3 out of 10 units can be debilitating to your late game efforts and will weaken your power spike. So Happy instead decides to tech the fastest possible. Bring his hero back to get an Orb of Corruption, get a nice level 3 too, slowly, not as quickly as the Night Elf is no doubt creeping his second hero now, whatever that may be. I vote Demon Hunter. But it is still pretty good. Level 3 too, didn't lose any units, not a single acolyte, didn't have to buy any items besides a Rod of Necromancy, no healing pot, no mana pot, no TP loss. It's solid. There's the Orb of Corruption and a 41 food. And I'm trying to store away all this information for next time when I play Undead. And the next Undead game you'll see on YouTube maybe after this, you can tell the level of efficacy that I had at replicating this game so far. That Spirit Tower is an interesting one. I wonder if that's from the experience of actually getting Zeppelin dropped by the Night Elf. No doubt, the elf would have crept the laboratory by now, bought a Zeppelin, and would like to maybe put some counter pressure. And it must be that indeed. Perhaps even the meta of Hippogriff Riders has been brought back, and he is expecting Hippogriff attacks. And there they are. The Hippogriffs are right there. He cancelled his second Spirit Tower, but it's really interesting that he decided to make that second Spirit Tower. Speaking from probably playing from the experience of having faced Zeppelin drops and Hippogriff counterattacks very often. This was his power spike. This was his moment. And yet we see that he's walking back and taking another camp. The nearest camp, which gives efficiency to his movement, The Devour magic there seems to have quite failed on that Fiend. One Fiend and Ghoul go down ingloriously to some rapid entangle focus fire. The Coil Nova on the Demon Hunter! He goes down rather than saving his coils for defense. He mercilessly slays the Demon Hunter, but INFI is okay with that. He is totally fine with that because he had the Ankh of Reincarnation. Ankh of Reincarnation, the item that you would find from the marketplace. That's a little bit of subliminal info that Happy can store away for later. Leave the Lich as a tank and pull everything back. The Lich, having hero armor, has the best relation to being focused and then getting a coil. Nonetheless, he has to escape here. One statue forgot to port away. I was thinking, hey, it's out of range. Hey, a mistake from Happy. It can't be. I must be mistaken. But it is indeed a rare mistake from Happy. So pressured that he was to save his Lich. Last minute passing the TP to the Lich and getting out. So far the losses are almost entirely on Happy's side. It feels unfair, doesn't it? Difficult. Here you are, an undead. You're being kept in your base for 8 minutes straight until your tech and destroyers are finished. Then, finally, during your glory moment, your birthday, your wedding, someone is there to ruin it all, drawing all the attention to themselves and just putting a dampener on your special little day. Killing fiends, ghouls, making Happy TP, forced to use mana potions. A very, very sad day indeed for Happy, because he was supposed to attack here, win the fight, and kill the expansion. I would feel the pressure big time here if I were Happy against INFI, but he's not rushing things, which is certainly interesting. Claws of attack plus 12, and the Lich is now a little bit more dangerous than he was. How much did Happy get stronger? Well, his Lich is closer to level 3. He's got more than one destroyer now. The ghouls have been traded away for the more sturdy and more threatening Crypt Fiends, and he attacks here. Plenty of mana on one of the destroyers. The Orb of Annihilation offers bonus area of effect damage, and that should be leveraged quite well here. But no invulnerability potion on any heroes makes me feel nervous. A quick Nova, we don't even know really what it hit. Focusing the Keeper, maybe perhaps Happy hopes some air as well, as the 7th Fiend is on the way. And the 3rd statue is coming also. Lich is level 3. And what is he going to buy here with his Death Knight? He clicked the circlet, doesn't have the money for it. Is it going to be a Gloves of Haste? Oh, Illusion. He buys the Wand of Illusion. This is an item that was really overlooked for a large part of Warcraft 3's history. But many players... I remember Sokol used to buy this. The German orc, Heinrich Rennert. He used to really value this item. I didn't. I think I overlooked it. Some other players did it, and I found it quaint. But now people like Hitman and Happy and many others, they're always picking up this illusion. Not just is it deception, and it certainly is deception. They will tank any stray shot which is not being focused, laser precision onto the unit that matters. They can take a full salvo of shots before someone realizes, like, hey, this unit is taking too much damage. This one is fake. The Wisp will help. He knew there couldn't be possibly that many fiends. But many fiends are still shockingly real, and they're starting to focus these fairy dragons. Why fairy dragons against fiends? Why hippogriffs? This is the meta. Everything else can get Coil Nova really easily. And these are good focus firers. But does INFI have enough? Did he do enough damage to Happy early game? Despite his expansion. Despite what INFI probably has now. 66 food or more, I would imagine. And he's going up against 60. Fiends are starting to fall. The Demon Hunter, not easy to take down. It has nothing. Happy has almost nothing to take down the demon. Any damage on it, in fact, would be entirely wasted. No invulnerability on the Lich. Feels tough. He is killing many air units, though. It looks grim for Happy, but the statues persevere. Healing mana and healing health. The Lich continues to fire. There's a Frost Armor, I believe, that he casted. Was it on the statue, or was it on the Lich itself? I don't see the animation on the Lich. Where is there's the Frost Armor on the Lich. And the Burrow is giving so much utility to the Fiends. There's a reveal from INFI that costed him a little bit of attention to bring his vision to the Wisp at the laboratory, cast reveal, and then go back to the fight. The micro of Happy here, impeccable, sending his statues out of the range of the Fairy Dragon. Lich getting focus fired here. Unholy Aura, he's trying to run away. Lich goes down, 46 food. Is this it? Can he rebuy his Lich and re-attack? Happy is going to unsummon one of his buildings, maybe multiple. He's going to rebuy the tavern, rebuy the Lich from the tavern. He's going to unsummon the Spirit Tower. He can no longer play this in a subtle manner. Spirit Tower will give more money back than a Ziggurat would. An immediate rebuy of the Lich. He knows how pivotal the Lich is to his damage output. 51 over 50. This is the last ditch effort for Happy. If he loses any units, he can replace them, but he can no longer grow the size of his army currently. Statues have given mana back to the Death Knight. He starts to focus the Tree of Life. This Tree of Life must go down at all costs. It represents the income inequality between different factions of society right here, between Happy and INFI. Coil, can he get a coil off before he gets before he gets mana burn? No. And these weird, weak units, the Fiends and the Hippogriffs, are starting to most likely gain the upper hand here. Here I was to learn Undead versus Elf in a very difficult matchup. And then I think, hey, is he losing? Although, that's a pretty small army actually from INFI. Perhaps it is yet possible, as the Fiend runs away from Focus Fire, but in vain. The health on the Undead heroes is looking a little better than on the Demon Hunter, but the Hippogriff and Archer Focus Fire on Destroyer takes another one down. GG. It's not the result I expected. INFI wins here, which is interesting because Happy did have the ping advantage. He's playing his main race. INFI, of course, main race used to be human, but he's now one of the most renowned random players, and Elf has long been his second. Still incredibly impressive here for him to defeat Happy. Yeah. How could Happy have won? Actually, you know, I'm not sure. And they're going again. Well, maybe for next video. Hope you enjoyed. And don't remember to follow the channel. Don't forget, remember.